Shri Radha Madhava ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. Raseshwari, could I please have that, the yeah.
Tambourine.
No, this one. Thank you. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Mukhakaroti vachalam pangoram gayate girim yatkripatamaham vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Shrimate Jayapataka Swaminiti Namine Namacharya Padaya Nitai Kripa Pradayine Gaurakata Damadaya Nagara Gramatarine Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So today I will start with this Bhagavatam verse, the 10th canto, chapter 90, text 48, and then we will discuss about Krishna's different marriages. That's the plan for tonight. Jayati Janani Vaso Devaki Janmavado Yaduvara Parishat Swair Dorberasan Adharmam Stirachara Vrijnagnan Sushmita Shrimukhena Vrajapura Vanitanam Vardhayan Kamadevam. Translation: Lord Shri Krishna is he who is known as Jananivasa, the ultimate resort of all living entities, and who is also known as Devaki Nandana or Yashoda Nandana, the son of Devaki and Yashoda. He is the guide of the Yadu dynasty, and with his mighty arms he kills everything inauspicious, as well as every man who is impious. By his presence he destroys all things inauspicious for all living entities, moving and inert. His blissful smiling face always increases the lusty desires of the gopis of Vrindavan. May he be all glorious and happy. And Srila Prabhupada explains, purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation and word meanings for this verse are taken from, actually this is 10th canto a little later, so it's written by the disciples of Prabhupada and it's a purport written based on Prabhupada's teachings. Translation and word meanings of this verse are taken from Srila Prabhupada's English rendering of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 1379. According to Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti, Srila Sukadeva Goswami has composed this beautiful verse to console those who lament the fact that Lord Krishna did not continue to manifest his intimate pastimes down to the present time. Here, Sri Sukadeva reminds his listeners that the Lord is eternally present in this world in his holy abode, his name and the recitation of his glories. The Lord is eternally present in this world in his holy abode, his name and the recitation of his glories. This idea is expressed by the word Jayati, he is victorious, which is in the present tense rather than in the past. And Srila Prabhupada also explains this verse as follows in Srila Rupa Goswami thus concludes his description of the super exalted position of Krishna by glorifying him in the following way. O Lord Krishna, all glories unto you. You are present in everyone's heart as Paramatma. Therefore, you are known as Jananivasa, one who lives in everyone's heart. As confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hrideshe Arjuna Tishtati. The Supreme Lord is in his Paramatma feature lives in everyone's heart. This does not mean, however, that Krishna has no separate existence as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Prabhupada goes on and on, especially, the purport goes on and on about Mayavada philosophers and the difference, etc. It's a very long purport, but this is a specific section that I wanted to focus on in these pastimes today. So we can see that when Lord Ram appeared in Treta Yuga, when he was walking inside the Dandakaranya forest, then all these rishis and the sages were being engaged in performing severe austerities and penances, and they were very well versed in scriptures. When they saw Lord Ram, they were completely captivated by what we call romantic attraction towards Lord Ram. It's a very atypical way of how the rishis and the sages would feel, but that's how they actually felt. And Lord Shri Ram is present in everyone's heart, so he took notice of this particular desire. So Krishna always fulfills the desires of the devotee, especially those which are favorable for our devotional service. So later on, Lord Ramachandra, he made his agenda, plans. Okay, Dwapara Yuga, all your desires will be fulfilled. So all these great sages and these great mystics and ascetics became the gopis of Vrindavan. And in this way, Sri Krishna actually fulfilled all their lusty desires by giving the association that they wanted. And not only that, even after, today I want to focus on Lord Ram, Krishna and Lord Chaitanya. These should be the three main incarnations where Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he appeared, also gained his eternal consort, Srimati Radharani, and in Lakshmi Devi, she manifested herself as Vishnu Priya and Lakshmi Priya. And not only that, some of the associates were even the gopis of Vrindavan, who were born to assist Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this Sankirtan movement. So, I mean, it's a very deep details. If you read Chaitanya Charitamrita, you'll see all the who is who, which gopi, and it's a very interesting change of rasa in Sankirtan movement. So we can see that when we're talking about eternal pastimes of Krishna, one point somebody is like a great sage who gets attracted to Krishna in a certain way, and then the next Dwapara Yuga he becomes a gopi, and then later on in Kali Yuga when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appears, he becomes an associate of Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement. You're all coming from Harinam today, so you have that experience of what it means to be part of that Mahaprabhu's movement and sing along with Mahaprabhu. Imagine Mahaprabhu standing in the center of the circle and we're all dancing around him doing Harinam Sankirtan in Jagannath Puri when Jagannath cart is coming. So these are the experiences that these devotees had. I also would like to dedicate this class today to my spiritual master, His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, whose appearance date is today. And he often quotes this particular pastime of the marriage of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lakshmi Priya and Vishnu Priya. And he often explains the theology of how Lakshmi Devi or Radharani, she actually manifested as these two personalities to assist Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in furthering this mission. Although we will study a little bit about the qualities. And I want to focus especially on the Srimati Radharani's role, because we hear more about Krishna and how Srimati Radharani, every time Krishna appears, when he appears as Lord Ram, she's there as Sita Devi in that specific mood, matching that mood, and she helps him. And then as Krishna, of course, she manifests, in many forms, but especially as Srimati Radharani and Lord Chaitanya also. So I will start with another side of Srimati Radharani, who's an expansion of Srimati Radharani, that is Rukmini Devi. So I want to speak a little bit about how Krishna married Rukmini. So who is Rukmini Devi? Kundini Yatagaravante Bhishmakana Kuvariyante Shishupalana Vallarante Ninage Ole Vadesanante Popu Hogona Haro Ganga Popu Hogona Haro Krishna. This is the town of Kundini. The king is Bhishmaka, and this beautiful, extremely beautiful princess is Rukmini Devi. And it seems, although the parents of Rukmini Devi wanted Rukmini to marry Krishna, the brother Rukmi was against the idea. And he wanted her to be married to Shishupal. When Rukmini Devi heard this, she was devastated. And she did something that even most modern women would fear to do. She was so bold for those times, 5,000 years ago in Dwapar Yuga. For a woman to write a love letter was a big thing. So she was very bold in doing this, and our Vaishnavacharyas explain her devotion. She was very submissive, meek and humble and quiet and introverted type of a princess. She never ever went against the wishes of her parents or the older brother. Never ever. And only when it came to this point, she was like, she could not imagine becoming somebody who's made of, in her own words in Bhagavatam, a man who's made of bag of bones and muscles and urine, and still she was like, I'm Krishna's and I will always be Krishna's. So she writes this letter and gives to the Brahmana. Today I will a little later recite this little song written by Vadiraja Tirtha, who is in our Vaishnava disciplic succession, who is the incarnation of that Brahmana who took the letter from Rukmini Devi and gave it to Krishna. And this is so amazing that Krishna appears again and again, the eternal concert appears again and again, the devotees appear again and again, all for us, to wake us up, to bring us back. And it is explained how she did not want to marry Shishupal, and she did this. And then Krishna appears there, just like a lion amidst the jackals, Bhagavatam explains. He just appears there with his mighty arms, as explained in this verse of Bhagavatam. And he comes there, and Rukmini Devi is supposed to go into the Durga Devi's temple. And she's there, and she's extremely shy, and she's waiting for Krishna, and her eyes are always looking around for Krishna, and she's not finding Krishna anywhere. And her beauty and her grace and her dignity is explained. Kamaladhangi Komalangi Sundarabja Vadane Nino Ramanamatya Katina Kaya Sudarasya. This is an extreme glorification of the goddess of fortune. Kamaladhangi Komalangi. Every single part of her body was like a lotus. Kamaladhangi Komalangi, and extremely tender was Rukmini Devi. And her bodily features, her shape, her skin, everything was Komala, means extremely soft, extremely tender. And Sundarabja Vadane, she was even more beautiful than Krishna. So extremely beautiful, and most beautiful that even the devatas would be attracted to her beauty and grace. And whereas the other hand, Krishna, he was a little bit slow. He didn't appear exactly immediately where Rukmini Devi wanted to see him. He appeared a little later, and it is explained so beautifully that, women would always walk with their head down and their eyes down. It's not like nowadays that we look immediately into the eyes and how straightforward, see the boys. It's not like that. They would be so shy, especially the unmarried girls. So she was looking down, and then she sensed that Krishna is there. So she wouldn't just lift her eyes and look at Krishna. So it's explained that she was like thinking, how can I look at Krishna so that nobody else sees me looking at Krishna? And as she was thinking, she said, oh, I could try to adjust my hair, and when I'm adjusting my hair, I can look at Krishna. So she would and then she was like, nobody saw me looking at Krishna. So beautiful little definitions, explanations have been given in the Shastra, how the shyness of Rukmini Devi. And also I will go parallel because I don't want to go again with this history. Similarly, Sita Devi, when she felt the presence of Lord Ram in the assembly of all these great kings, and that was her suitor's ceremony, she could choose the husband. And so she was there, and all the kings were there. She was bedecked exactly with all these features explained, beautiful ornaments, and she looked extremely beautiful. And she stood there, and she was thinking, how can I take a look at Lord Ram? How can I look at him? And everybody's looking at her. So she was thinking, how do I do it? So there's a slightly different thing that she does than what Rukmini Devi does. So Sita Devi, she lifts her hand up And then in the pretext of adjusting her bangle, she sees Krishna. And then she's like, nobody noticed. So these are this is the difference between material and spiritual, and temporary and eternal, because this relationship between Krishna and Radha is the most special. It's incomparable. It's nothing to do with material attraction. It's ever fresh. It's always, in every incarnation, there's always something new. There's always more eagerness. There's always more attraction. So in everything we can see this. And also it is explained that when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu first met Lakshmi Priya on the banks of Ganga, they were both immediately attracted to each other. Immediately. But they wouldn't lift their heads and look at each other. So she was praying somehow or another. There was these Ghataks. My Guru Maharaj often explains this thing. Ghatak means matchmakers. So there was a matchmaker in the village, and his name was Vanamali. And she was hoping that the matchmaker will bring the proposal of Mahaprabhu to her father. And so the whole explanation is given how Lord Chaitanya and Lakshmi Priya had already seen each other in the banks of Ganga. They were crossing their paths. And they stood there for like a second, looking at each other. Like she would look at the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu, and then as Mahaprabhu would be gone, in the pretext of turning around, she would see Mahaprabhu and continue her Ganga bathing and everything. And then it's described, on the other hand, Krishna, how was his way of behavior, how was he walking, how was he talking, how was he coming. So it is said, Raja Vidhi Yalagi Ninda Kasturi Ranga Tera Neri Meredu Banda. Raja Vidhi Yalagi Ninda Kasturi Ranga Tera Neri Meredu Banda. So Krishna, on the other hand, as did Lord Ramachandra and as did Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for the wedding, they were decorated with sandalwood paste, and he was decorated with kasturi, it's another perfume, and he was royally dressed while he walked towards the goddess of fortune. And Ramaniya Swarupi Nino Amita Khora Rupana Bano Nami Parishta Dani Nino Danava Bedu Vavanige Volidayata Kammalakumi Vasudevage. This is a poetry by Vaishnavacharya Purandaradasa. He's asking the goddess of fortune, why do you choose the Lord who appears? You even accompany him when he comes in the fearsome form of Nrsingadev, Varahadev, and it's not exactly according to the comparison of the beauty of the goddess of fortune and the way Krishna looks in certain avatars. You still are always beautiful, even if he takes this Nrsinga, Varaha. And then it says, you're Namiparishta Dani, you're always the mother of this universe, you're always giving generous charity to everyone. Whoever comes to your shelter, you're immediately giving everything. And you are accompanying the one who goes and asks for charity, meaning Vamanadev. When he appeared as Vamanadev, he even went and asked for charity. So the whole comparison is done that the relationship between Krishna and Radha is not limited only to one pastime, but it's eternal, and there are so many. So the Acharya is asking, what attracted you to the Supreme Lord in that form, and in this form, and in that form? And yet you always appear so beautiful, you appear always generous. There is this explanation, there's this verse. This is the verse that explains her grace, her highest feminine energy, the universal feminine energy. नमस्तेस्तु महामाये श्रीपीठसुरपूजिते शङ्खचक्रगदाहस्ते महालक्ष्मी नमोऽस्तुते नमस्ते गरुडारूढे कूलासुरभयङ्करी सर्वपापहरे देवी महालक्ष्मी नमोऽस्तुते सर्वज्ञे सर्ववरदे सर्वदुष्टभयङ्करी सर्वदुःखे हरे देवी महालक्ष्मी नमोऽस्तुते सिद्धिबुद्धिप्रदे देवी भुक्तिमुक्तिप्रदायिनी मंत्रमूर्ते सदा देवी महालक्ष्मी नमोस्तुते आद्यांतरहिते देवी आदिशक्ति महेश्वरी योग संभूते महालक्ष्मी नमोस्तुते. This is saying that actually Srimati Radharani, who's goddess of fortune, Lakshmi Devi, she is full of opulence. She is full of everything that is required to run the universe. It says that she even holds in one of her forms, she even holds Shankha and Chakra. And she even has her own weapons. And she even has, you can see actually in some of the forms, they have like Ashtalakshmi. You can see the different avatars, like different Veshas of Lakshmi Devi herself. And it said, she even has her own Garuda Vahana in one of her forms. And she gives fearlessness, she removes all miseries, and she can even award liberation. So basically it is said, in Ramayana when Dasharath Maharaj becomes very concerned, Dasharath Maharaj is, I'll tell you a little bit, from when he was 15 years old, when Lord Ram was 15, Dasharath becomes very concerned. Oh, how will I find a suitable bride for my son? See, when you're extremely qualified, it becomes a concern, who will you marry? So Rama was so qualified that Dasharath started worrying, how will I find a suitable bride for Lord Ram? Because every single letter Ram would speak was full of truth. Imagine a boy who's always speaking truth marries a girl who speaks lie for every sentence, every sentence she speaks 10 lies. Wouldn't be a good match. So Dasharath knew that the girl has to be somebody extremely qualified and extremely high in her value system, very faithful, very loyal, very intelligent, and he was very concerned. And when he was concerned in this way is when, what is the Rishi's name? I forgot. Vishwamitra. So Vishwamitra comes to Dasharath Maharaj when Rama is just 15-year-old, and for Dasharath he's a little boy and he's such a sweet boy. He is a precious boy for me. I'm protecting him and I need to get him married. That was Dasharath's mind. When the Vishwamitra comes, and Vishwamitra asks not for wealth, not for fame, not for sitting on the throne. He says, I want Lord Ram with me. I want to take him into the forest. Dasharath says, to do what? To kill the demons. And Dasharath Maharaj almost has a heart attack. He's like, how can I send my child? He's such a tender little boy. He cannot kill demons. Please, I think you're misunderstanding. And Vishwamitra tells Dasharath Maharaj, my dear king, it's you who is misunderstanding. You do not know Ram. And Dasharath, actually it's described that Dasharath becomes a little bit disturbed. I don't know my son. But he doesn't say it because it's not Vaishnava etiquette. So he just keeps quiet and he's not going to deny. And that's when Dasharath he felt that, oh, this is such a dangerous mission, but still Ramachandra wanted to go, and he sent to the forest. And there, of course, as Vishwamitra had predicted and expected, Lord Ram was very efficient in all the military arts, and he knew how to use deadly weapons against these asuras, and for him it was just a game of the hand. This shows that it's glorified that the courage of Lord Ram and the anger of Lord Ram was used in the right place. So Vaishnava should have anger. It should not be completely without any anger. But rather we need to know when to apply anger. And Lord Ramachandra manifests that quality. So he utilized the anger to kill all these demons and also to kill Ravan. So he used it in the right way. then after that, we know how in the last attempt when he was killing Ravan, Rama uses Brahmastra. So that again requires certain mood to do it. It is in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is actually saying that among the weapon wielders, I am Rama. So it's very interesting that Rama is actually Maryada Purushottam, he's actually the one who's a peaceful incarnation, but Krishna in Bhagavad Gita says among the wielders of weapon, I am Rama. So he's a perfect example. And so after seeing this, Vishwamitra is very pleased, and that's when he tells all the pastimes to Rama and Lakshmana after the demons have been killed in the forest who are disturbing their yagyas. He tells Rama and Lakshmana the incarnations of Vamanadev and all the different pastimes, and he also brings into the mind of Ram how there is this worshipable bow kept on the banks of river Ganges by Janaka Maharaj, and this nobody can lift it. This is actually the special Dhanush. So he's giving the knowledge to Lord Ram, what is this weapon and everything. He's preparing him to win Sita Devi in the Swayamvara. And so many kings were present. They could not even touch the bow, some of them, and some people couldn't even string it, some people couldn't lift. So many kings failed miserably, and Janaka Maharaj had desired to have Lord Rama for Sita. And in fact, who other than Sita Devi would match Lord Ram's character and prowess and courage? In fact, when we talk about Sita Devi, the two main qualities about Sita are chastity and courage. And little shortly, I will share three main qualities of Sita Devi and why these two qualities. Then, so when Lord Ram comes and he lifts the Dhanush and he cracks it open to two pieces, then there's a thundering explosion and people fall unconscious when this happens, and Sita Devi is completely enamored and excited. So Sita Devi is not an ordinary personality. She's eternal consort of Lord Ram, of Krishna, and therefore she's appearing as Sita Devi as the consort of Lord Ramachandra. Valmiki in his Ramayana, he compares Rama and Sita just after this Swayamvara happened and Rama is being garlanded by Sita. He says the sight of Rama and Sita together, it makes the moon, and it's like the moon and the brightest star together. He says it's like looking at them in that way. It's a poetic description. Okay, I want to share three qualities that reveals Sita Devi's internal strength, how that courage and chastity came across. First quality is that of forgiveness. Sita Devi's forgiveness is glorified because after Ravana's death, Hanuman comes to Sita. Basically, Ravana is dead, and Hanuman goes back to where Sita Devi is sitting, and he comes and he tells her Ravana is dead. And before taking Sita Devi in front of Lord Ram, he offers to Sita Devi that I will kill all these demons here. And Sita Devi actually, she was so kind that she says, these guards, they were simply carrying out Ravana's order. No blame should be attached to them. Any suffering I felt was surely the universal law. Indeed, there is an ancient maxim that is always the code of virtuous. A righteous person does not consider the offense of others. At all costs, that person always observes the vow of not returning evil for evil. For the virtuous consider good conduct their ornament. I mean, imagine, after going through such a torture under the hands of Ravan, and she was completely strong. It is described that Even though Ravana was torturing her so much in those 12 months' time, she, instead of becoming more and more emaciated and losing her luster, she was becoming more and more strong. She was becoming more and more powerful. Then another incident that happens that shows Sita Devi's open-heartedness, when she was supposed to go back to Ayodhya as the queen, she says, if I could please return to Ayodhya in the company of all the wives of the monkey chiefs. So she is not considering herself, there she's saying, they all helped, I want to go with them. So that shows how open-hearted she was. And then actually Ramachandra is appreciating that, and they stop the chariot and they get all the monkeys' wives into the chariot and they go together. I mean, there are a lot of descriptions that shows how harmonious Sita Devi was after how many times Ravana would come and try to talk to her, and at one point she even keeps a straw between her and Ravana. And she says, no matter how much you try, you have so many concerns, go back. She's really strong. So we can see that Rukmini Devi also had that strength to want to be with Krishna. She would do anything. So Sita Devi as well, to want to always be Rama's, she would do anything, any strength, and she would keep herself strong. I mean, in Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastime, Lakshmi Priya actually even leaves her body because of separation from Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So such intense is their love. Okay, so now I want to share with you another very interesting pastime. This is the pastime going back to Rukmini and Krishna. So after Rukmini and Krishna gets married, they go back and Krishna has another wife. She's a strong character, Satyabhama. She's a very interesting personality. She has a very strong character. And she was very, very confident that Krishna loved her the most. And she also knew that she loved him the most. She was like, I am incomparable, our love is incomparable. So one day Narad Muni, as usual, he always does these stories and tricks. So he comes to Satyabhama and he wants to create a special pastime. So he says, are you sure really? And so somehow or another he talks to her and tricks her into giving Krishna in charity to Narad Muni. He says, this will please Krishna very much, so much that he will really love you much more after doing this thing. Somehow or another she gets tricked, although the other queens are not agreeing. So somehow or another she agrees to this. And then at one point he says, now if you want to get Krishna back, you have to show to Krishna how much you love him. You have to give all your wealth and jewelry and all kinds of money, everything. So Krishna was watching all this, by the way. And he just went along, because it is said that he even put salt on the wound of Satyabhama by saying, now I'm going to become a slave of a Muni. He was even joking. So in this way, it's a famous pastime called Tulabaram. This is the name of the pastime. So in this situation is going on, and Narad Muni is having fun, and Krishna is like, whatever, do whatever you want with me. And then Satyabhama is like, yes, I will give everything. And so she brings all the wealth of the palace and she puts on the other side where Krishna is sitting in this balanced scale. So Krishna is sitting on one side and Satyabhama is putting all the gold and all the expensive items and diamonds and jewelry and everything. And none of that is actually able to balance with Krishna. It's like Krishna is here and those things are here. It's never really even equaling it. So Satyabhama is desperate. Oh God, I'm losing Krishna. And all the queens are like also freaking out. And the deal is, if she will not be able to do this, then Krishna will become a slave of Narad Muni for the rest of the life. And then finally, somehow she realizes that Narad Muni had a point. And then she goes and asks Rukmini, because Rukmini is known to be so surrendered and so devoted. So that's the whole point of Narad Muni, who comes first and tries to create jealousy in her heart and say Rukmini is better, her love is better. And she's like, no. And so the whole pastime happens. Then finally Rukmini Devi comes And with all her love and all her devotion, she says, what can I give to equal Krishna? I have nothing, but I can only do one thing. And she goes to Tulsi Maharani and she takes a tulsi leaf and she puts on it and then the whole weight goes there and then we get back Krishna finally. So this also glorifies the quality of Rukmini Devi of devotion, of surrender. And there's another pastime I actually didn't plan to say that, but now I remember the headache of Krishna. How many of you know that story? The headache of Krishna, more or less. That's another cute story also.
No, but you can tell because you have done so nicely. I know also this one with, but I experienced Please.
Okay. So, one day, Krishna pretends, or he has a headache, okay? Krishna has a headache. And they are trying, he's in Dwarka, so they are, all the different queens are trying different medicines, they are bringing these herbs and that herbs and trying all kinds of things. Nothing is helping Krishna, right? Then finally Narad Muni appears and says, I know what is the medicine. And what is the medicine? Just anybody who loves Krishna should give a little bit of a dust from their feet. What? And all the queens of Vrindavan, all the queens of Dwarka, like, that's impossible. That's sin. He's Vasudeva. He's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If we give our dust from our lotus feet on his head, we will go to hell. So nobody is willing to do it. Nobody. None of the queens. Then finally Narad Muni reaches Vrindavan. And then he's like, oh, none of them agreed, I don't know what these girls will say. So he goes and he doesn't even finish the sentence. Krishna has a headache and the cure is the... And by the time he even finishes the sentence, they already prepared a plate and all the gopis took the sand from their feet, they put it there. And Narad Muni is like, don't you fear that this is going to take you to hell? He's like, it's okay if we go to hell, but we don't want Krishna to have a headache. This is the love and devotion of the gopis of Vrindavan towards Lord Krishna, unconditional. Okay, what time is it? 8 o'clock. So, I guess I will end here and you can ask any questions and if something comes up. Of course, I have many pastimes, but I'm trying to choose the ones that is most relevant. And
there was also a pastime where Krishna tried to give in charity Radharani, right?
Yeah. I can't remember exactly all the details of that story, but yeah, somebody remembers that story? Lee, you remember that story?
What story?
Krishna gives Radharani in charity.
No.
Yeah, I remember, but I can't remember all the details. Do you remember the details? No.
That's a mess.
Yeah, I don't know. I can tell you later. I'll check and let you know. Okay, anything else?
I want to say actually already on the beginning when I started, I want such a relationship like Krishna and Radharani has, but then I was a little bit maybe too brave. I was 16 and I asked on lecture, and there was like, what you can even think about that, but anyway, thanks God then with years and I went to Vrindavan, but this is like, I don't know, like for me it's totally normal, like to feel also that, I want such experience with Krishna also deep. So maybe you can say something about that, like, because devotees are so afraid, they're thinking like, Krishna is supreme now, so many times we are telling, like, but I mean, I believe many of devotees, they have such a feeling, like women want a husband like Krishna. When we read this, I mean, of course, my tears are immediately coming, and I'm thinking, wow, such a man, like.
Yeah. Okay, well, I remember one thing. The problem is that we want to be Srimati Radharani. The truth is that that position is already taken. We can never become Srimati Radharani. So as soon as we have that truth established, then other desires or what we have, what kind of rasa we have towards Krishna, that's a separate issue. Because we cannot compare our love towards Krishna to the love of Srimati Radha and Krishna. Because it's a different category. It's a category of eternal divine love. They are the divine couple, and that position is permanent, and nobody can replace Srimati Radharani. And so the mood is that we are servants of Srimati Radharani. So by taking shelter of Srimati Radharani, she will bring us to Krishna. So as soon as we can accept them as the divine couple, then we want to serve them. That's the right way to approach Radha and Krishna. That's the right way to approach Krishna. Because without Radha, Krishna is not approachable for the jivas. So from my understanding, that's a very important basic truth that we need to establish in our minds. Because the mind basically wants to be Krishna, wants to be Radha, but that's not possible. It's not possible. It's just impossible. It cannot be. Then the second thing I was thinking is the principle that the rasa is, it's a very deep relational thing, and sometimes we will have certain relationship with certain particular deities, and then we develop that relationship, and that's can be very healthy. Because you know more about a particular personality. Somebody may be Nitai's devotee, so they're always talking to Nityananda, they're always telling you this happened, that happened, please help me. You develop that relationship, right? So that's actually very important before we become, everybody is attracted to conjugal rasa, because Shringara rasa is the most attractive, right? But before, in the foundation of Shringara rasa is Shanta rasa. Means there is that surrender and devotion and respect. Without that, it's not possible to be part of that. And the third point I was thinking is that one thing is the desire, but another thing is the patience and the hard work and the determination to remain being an instrument of Krishna, being open to whatever Krishna wants to do with us. And that also means right now in our material world, material relationships, what we're going through, all the circumstances, how we can accept that without being, but like some people, you say, you'll have a good spiritual life, what about my material life? Like immediately, right, that's the mood. So the point is, when we want to have a relationship with Krishna, he will test us time and again about our relationships we're having here. The minute we neglect him, we will start feeling neglected by other people in our life. He's constantly reminding us. So my summary of the answer would be, the intimacy with Krishna does not have to be in an imaginary way of what we read about Radha and Krishna and the gopis. It can be happening here and now in our lives, with relationships we have with devotees, relationship we have with our spiritual master, with the service that we are doing. We can experience that. Krishna has that capacity to make us experience that intimacy even without exactly those details. And that's where I was saying, when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes, all the gopis even come as the Sankirtan associates. So it's not the conjugal rasa means only, in our mind we think the material romance thing, but it's something much more deeper. It doesn't matter the name of the relation. So you are in that already, you're part of the Sankirtan mission. And Krishna can give you the experience of that intimacy while you are doing book distribution, while you're going on Harinam, when you're doing your service to Jagannath. It can be experienced, so it's not something separate. Does it help?
How many wives did Krishna marry?
16,108.
16,000. So, what are their positions in the spiritual world?
What do you mean?
Like, are they gopis in spiritual world, or?
Well, the 16,108 are already, the wives are already in the spiritual world, because whenever Krishna wherever Krishna is, that's the spiritual world.
Okay.
But yes, they have their different positions and different rasas in different incarnations. Like I said, those 16,000 were the sages in the Naimisharanya, in the Dandakaranya, when Lord Ram walked. And those were they were born as princesses and they were captured by this demon and Krishna married them. So these are the eternal associates, but sometimes it's also manifested as the desires of these particular devotees, and then they join. I mean, I had planned to say another story of, because Yashoda could never see Krishna being married. You know, when Krishna married all the 16,000, she never saw him being married. So she had a desire in her heart to see Krishna being married. And Krishna fulfilled that desire. In the previous Kali Yuga, he appeared as Balaji, Srinivasa, you know, the temple in Tirupati. He appeared to fulfill the desires of a few devotees. One was Yashoda. She was born as Bakula Devi. She was staying in the forest waiting for Krishna to come because she knew that he will come and she will get him married. So there's a whole pastime about it. When do we have to end? What time is usually? No, but Prashant.
Depends. Prashant is there. It's okay.
You want to hear that story?
Yes.
This is one of my favorite stories. By the way, whoever listens to this story, they will get married to a very qualified person. That's the benediction of this whole thing. Okay. So I'll go quickly. I'll just say the verse and then I'll tell you the translation and you'll get the story at the end. ಶ್ರೀಯರೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಬನ್ನಿರೆ ಶ್ರೀನಿವಾಸನು ಕಾಡಿರೆ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಗುರುಗಳಿಗೆ ವಂದಿಸಿ ಮುಂದೆ ಕಥೆಯ ಕೇಳುವೆ ಗಂಗಾ ತೀರದಿ ಋಷಿಗಳು ಒಂದು ಯಾಗವ ಮಾಡಿದರು ಬಂದು ನರದ ನಿಂದುಕೊಂಡು ಯಾರಿಗೆಂದು ಕೇಳಲು ಅರಿತು ಬರಬೇಕು ಎಂದು ಆ ಮುನಿಯು ತೆರಳಿದ ಮುನಿಯು ತೆರಳಿದ ನಂದಗೋಪನ ಮಗನ ಕಂದನ ಮಂದಿರಕ್ಕಾಗೆ ಬಂದನು ವೇದಗಳನ್ನೇ ಓದುತ್ತಾ ಹರಿಯನ್ನು ಕೊಂಡಾಡುತ್ತಾ ಇರುವ ಬೊಮ್ಮನ ನೋಡಿದ ಕೈಲಾಸಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದನು. So this is the time where all these sages were assembled together and they started doing a yagya. And when they were doing the yagya, Narada comes there and asks, who is this yagya meant for? And they say, we don't know. They say, we have to find out. So they send Bhrigu Rishi, the Rishi Bhrigu, to go and find out who is the best person to receive the sacrifices, this particular sacrifice, who is the one who is qualified to receive the benediction, not the benediction, the results of the yagya, who is the goal of this yagya. So this Rishi goes first to Kailash, and he's there. Shambhu Kandanu Parvatiyu Kalatiruvuda Kandanu Srittiyolage Ninna Linga Sreshtavagalendanu. He goes there, and in Kailash, Shiva is very busy with the wife and he doesn't give him attention. Bhrigu Muni becomes very angry. He curses him. In Kali Yuga, nobody will worship you in your form as Shiva. They'll only worship you as a form of a linga. And then he leaves and then he goes to Brahmaloka. And he's there, he goes to Brahmaloka. Brahma knows that Bhrigu is there, but he doesn't give him attention either. He's with Saraswati Devi, busy discussing the pastimes of the Supreme Lord. And immediately he becomes angry again and he says, nobody will worship you in Kali Yuga. And then he comes to Vaikunta. And Vaikuntake bandano vari jakshana kandano ketta kopatinda ಒದ್ದರಿಗೆಷ್ಟು ನೊಂದಿತೆಂದನು ಕಟ್ಟನೆ ಬಿಸಿ ನೀರಿನಿಂದ ನೆಟ್ಟಗೆ ಪಾದ ತೊಳೆದನು ಒಂದ ಕಾರ್ಯ ಆಯಿತೆಂದು ಅಂದು ಮುನಿಯು ತೆರಳಿದ. Then what happens? He comes to Vaikunta. Vishnu sees him, but he's busy with Lakshmi Devi as well. He doesn't give him immediate attention. Bhrigu comes, kicks the Supreme Personality of Godhead on the chest. And the Supreme Personality of Godhead is very, very sweet. He says, oh my dear Bhrigu, your lotus feet must have got hurt by hitting the hard rock-like chest of mine. Let me massage your feet. So he takes the feet of Bhrigu Rishi and tries to massage his feet. Of course, he has a purpose, right? And Lakshmi Devi, looking at this, becomes very upset. She says, this is my Vakshasthala. Where he kicked you is the place that I reside. And instead of chastising him or cursing him, you're taking his feet and you're massaging it. I'm leaving. Hari Bol. And so she walks out of the Vaikunta. And Bhrigu Rishi, you know what happens, right? No, you have no idea. Krishna is tricky. Bhrigu was so proud because of his austerities, and due to his austerities, he had got a benediction. He had an eye in his feet. And that eye was giving him all sorts of mystic powers. And that's why he was so arrogant and he did what he did. So Krishna, while massaging his feet, accidentally removes the eye. And he says, oh, I'm sorry. But by that time, because the eye is smashed, Bhrigu Muni realizes his mistake and he's like, what have I done? I've kicked your chest. By the time it's too late, Lakshmi Devi is already angry and she's gone. ಸತಿಯುಪೋಗೆ ಪತಿಯು ಹೊರಟು ಗಿರಿಗೆ ಬಂದು ಸೇರಿದ ಹುತ್ತದಲ್ಲೇ 10,000 ವರುಷ ಹುತ್ತವಾಗಿದ್ದನು ಬ್ರಹ್ಮದೇನು ವಾದನು ರುದ್ರವತ್ಸನಾದನು ದೇನು ಮುಂದೆ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಗೋಪಿ ಹಿಂದೆ ಬಂದಳು. So after this happened, the Supreme Personality of God, it cannot be without his eternal concept. So he also followed her to earth. And she had gone to Kollapura. There's a place in Maharashtra. She went there and started doing her meditations. Because she was upset with Vishnu. So she went and started doing her meditations. And Vishnu, he was basically feeling depressed. Just like Lord Ram was depressed when Sita Devi was separated from him. Just like Krishna was feeling separation from the gopis. So he stayed for 10,000 years, it is said, under an ant hill on a mountain. When this happened, Brahma and Shiva could not see the Supreme Personality of Godhead in that way, because the whole universal law was becoming disturbed. Of course, this is a Leela. You see why he comes down to do this. So Brahma comes as a cow, and that's what is the Kamadhenu cow. The Surabhi cow is when this is the time he appears. And Shiva comes as a little calf. And Durga Devi comes as the girl who's bringing this cow and the calf to the king. And they come to the Chola king, who was at that time the king, and she says, this cow can give unlimited milk, and whoever drinks the milk of this cow will never get any sickness. So, Preetiyinda tanna manige tandu kondaru Cholanu. So basically the king with love took those cow and the calf into his custody. And every day this cow, what it would do, before the boy could go and milk it, it would run somewhere over the hill and go and pour all the milk somewhere. And then by the time it comes back, the milk was over and it would not give any milk to the person. So this person was becoming frustrated, and the king's wife chastised this boy who was taking care of the cow and said, you're drinking all the milk. There's no milk for our prince. If you do not give milk tomorrow, we will kill you. Back then there was not like sending you to the next country to go and do service in the temple. You just finished. So he's told like that. And this boy follows the cow. And when he follows the cow, he sees that the cow is going on this ant hill and pouring down all the milk. So that was Brahma coming and giving milk to Krishna, who was under this hill. So all this milk, and Krishna would open his mouth and drink this milk. And in this way, he sustained the universe by doing that. So the boy comes and he wants to kill the cow because he's upset with what this cow has been doing to him, because he's going to lose his job and his head. So he comes with an axe and he is about to hit the cow, and Krishna is so attached to cows. He did not want the cow to be hurt. So he gets up from that hill, and instead of the cow, he gets hit. He gets hit here in the head and he starts bleeding. Then this cow is a Kamadhenu cow, so it rushes to the king and starts ringing the bell, asking for justice. And the king comes along with this cow and he goes to see what has happened. When he goes there, what he sees is that the boy who was taking care of the cow is burnt into ashes. And there's a man standing there with the bleeding head. He does not understand, and he chastises the person bleeding with the head, thinking he has killed this boy. He does not understand that the Supreme Lord's anger for somebody trying to attempt to kill the cow had burnt him down, which was he had got liberated. He did not understand all these things. So immediately this king becomes a ghost. because you see there are consequences, there are natural laws. So this king becomes a ghost until and unless the person's the story is ended, he will not get liberation, basically. Then he's going with this pain into the forest. He's basically calling Amma, Amma, Ma, Ma, like he's calling out the names of the mother. So there is Yashoda, who is Bakula Devi. She appeared as Bakula Devi. She was like a Guru Mata who was living in the forest, and she had disciples. She was taking care, and she was basically waiting for Krishna to come. So he comes, and then she's surprised, and all the disciples know she's waiting for him. So she says, Mata, Mata, he has come, he has come. So then he comes, then she puts the camphor. She puts camphor here, because when you put camphor, when it's bleeding, it stops bleeding. He was hurt here and here. So she puts the camphor here and here. If you go to Tirupati, Balaji, he has the camphor here and here always, every day. You can even get the maha of that camphor. Then, ನೂರು ಪದ ಭೂಮಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ ಮೊದಲು ಪೂಜೆ ನಿಮಗೆಂದ ಪಾಕಪಕ್ವ ಮಾಡುವುದಕ್ಕೆ ಆಕೆ ಬಹುಳೆ ಬಂದಳು ಭಾನುಕೋಟಿ ತೇಜನೀಗ ಬೇಟೆಯಾಡ ಹೊರಟನು ಮಂಡೆ ಬಾಚಿ ದೊಂಡೆ ಹಾಕಿ ದುಂಡು ಮಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಮುಡಿದನು ಹಾರ ಪದಕ ಕೊರಳಲ್ ಹಾಕಿ ಹಣೆಗೆ ತಿಲಕವಿಟ್ಟನು ಅಂಗುಲಿಗೆ ಉಂಗುರ ರಂಗ ಶೃಂಗಾರವಾದನು. This is how when he went there is a whole pastime between him and Varahadev. So they had a deal. Varahadev is going to give him a piece of land to stay there. That's the land which is now the Tirupati, the hills of Tirumala Tirupati. So the deal was that Krishna said, you will be worshipped first before people come and see me. Prabhupada explains that in this pastime, the Narayan is not Narayan, he's actually Krishna, because he came to fulfill the desires of the devotees. So now is the whole pastime. We have to go back a little bit to Ramayana. When Sita Devi was kidnapped, it was not the original Sita Devi who was kidnapped, but it was actually a Maya Sita. And that Maya Sita was called Vedavati. So when later on Agni Deva had kept original Sita, when original Sita was returned, also this false Sita came up, that is Vedavati, and she said, I have done this service, dear Lord Ram, I want you to now accept me as your wife. And Rama said, but I am a Ekapatni Vratasta, I cannot accept more than one wife this lifetime. So he said, I will come in the next Kali, in the Kali Yuga, that was the previous Kali Yuga, I will come and I will marry you. So there was this Vedavati who was waiting as Padmavati. She was born to the king of the mountains in this part of the India, and she was waiting for the Supreme Lord. So that particular day, he was dressed with his, like how we dress Gaurnitai. The Gaurnitai has this little bun on the head and the hair. So he was dressed like that, and he put flowers, and he put the ring, and he put his saffron and yellowish garments. And he sat on a horse, and he started riding and going inside the forest. And there he finds some elephants coming to attack. So he actually sees beautiful girls walking, and he comes and protects them from the elephants attacking them. And there he sees this amazingly beautiful girl, Padmavati. He comes home and he doesn't eat and he doesn't sleep, and he's kind of very low in his mind. And the mother asks, what happened? Why are you not eating? Please eat, I have cooked for you. He says, this is very... ಪರಮಾನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇನು ಉಣ್ಣು ಬೇಗ ಎಂದಳು ಅಮ್ಮಯ್ಯನಗೆ ಅನ್ನ ಬೇಡ ಎನ್ನ ಮಗನೆ ವೈರಿಯೇ ಕಣ್ಣಿಲ್ಲದ ದೈವ ಅವಳ ನಿರ್ಮಾಣವ ಮಾಡಿದ ಯಾವ ದೇಶ ಯಾವಳಾಕೆಯನಗೆ ಪೇಳು ಎಂದಳು ನಾರಾಯಣನ ಪುರಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಿ ರಾಮಕೃಷ್ಣರ ಪೂಜಿಸಿ ಕುಂಜಮಣಿಯ ಕೊರಳಲ್ ಹಾಕಿ ಕುಸಿನ ಕೊಂಕಳಲೆತ್ತಿದ. So this is a very, he says, I think my son is my enemy. So this is very, very complicated story, right? So this is Krishna, whose son is who? Brahma. So Brahma is the creator of all living entities. So he saw this extremely beautiful girl, and he comes to the mother and says, my son is my enemy. He has created a beautiful girl that I cannot think of anything else but her. So he is so enamored by her. And then Padmavati does all kinds of arrangements. They go and talk and say, can you give your daughter to my son? This is Bakula Devi, she asks. And the father of the bride says, but your son, what does he do? And why are you getting him married? He's already married. She says, oh, from the first marriage he doesn't have any children. So we are getting him married again. And he is very strong and he is very wealthy. He can take care of your daughter. Please give him in marriage. Tande tai bandhu badaga honnu. He means she's saying he's the supreme personality of Godhead. He has wealth. Don't worry. Give her in marriage. Then Brihaspati comes, Shukracharya comes, and then Garuda comes. Everybody comes. So the marriage is almost about to happen, right? There's one person being forgotten. Who? Lakshmi Devi. So Lakshmi Devi is situated in the Kolhapura. She's doing the meditation there, and there is a whole project of going along with Garuda there, convincing her and bringing her here. So there's a whole pastime of what happens there, that Krishna actually becomes a stone there because of certain pastimes happening there. That's a whole different story. But Kanakabhushanavada todege kamalanava tottanu Kanakabhushanavada mantapa kamalanava yerida. So this is the wedding that happened in the previous Kali Yuga, when they tied the kankana to the hand and there was exchange of garlands. Srinivasa Padmavatige Mangalyava Kattida Srinivasana Maduve Node Striyarellaru Bannire Padmavatiya Maduve Node Muddu Balayaru Bannire Shanke Illade Hanava Suridu Venkateshana Kaluhida. So in this way, the desires of Yashodamaya were fulfilled by seeing Krishna being married, and also Vedavati, who was the false Sita, also got her desire fulfilled by becoming the consort of Krishna as Padmavati Devi. And even today they stand on top of the Tirumala hill, and he's still paying back his debts to Kubera, because that wedding was very expensive. So that wedding took place in the previous Kali Yuga, and Krishna promised to pay back the debts by the end of this Kali Yuga. So Balaji is the most richest of all the temples in the world. He gets the most of the donations, and he's paying back the debts to Kubera even today, doing many, many miraculous pastimes. So this is our Supreme Personality of Godhead, who's always taking into account every little desires of ours and always making sure that those desires are fulfilled. So let us be very careful what we desire. And actually I quoted this story to say that there are pastimes which indicate that the jiva, an empowered jiva, when they become very pure and engage themselves in pure devotional service, they also get opportunities in certain pastimes. Krishna personally takes special avatar, special thing to fulfill certain devotees' desires, and they become part of the eternal story. It's not always like only the eternal servants will get a chance. Also the jivas get opportunity to become part of the story. So this story was an example to show that. And Padmavati Devi is very powerful because she did this great service to Lord Ram by being captivated by Ravana. So many esoteric stories. So I hope you enjoyed this Katha and Leela today. Thank you very much for your questions, for your patience. So we will say Jai Jai Shri Ramachandra Bhagavan Ki Jai. Shri, how do you say? Jai Jai Radhe Shyam, and Jai Sachinandana Gaura Hari Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Sriradhita.